Okay, friends, so it's near-death experience story time, and I have talked about mine a few times before, but here it is again, maybe slightly more condensed than before. So, long story short, man, I'd love to just talk about all this stuff. But anyways, long story short, 2020, hospitalized with COVID, 16 days, back during the scary time when there were no visitors and people came in full hazmat suits, and they didn't come in that much because they were scared of you. Anyways, while in the hospital, I experienced an altered state of reality. Can be called other things, but that's what it was. And I had a lot of really interesting experiences. Like basically, it was like a spontaneous Kundalini spiritual awakening type thing. But part of my experience while in the hospital was a near-death experience. And I feel silly. I'm totally a natural blonde. I feel silly for not realizing that it was a near-death experience until later on, because I experienced a lot of crazy stuff in the hospital, and by crazy I mean like it's crazy, fascinating, and awesome, and I really wish I could just experience it all over again. Sign me up for take 2. Please infect me with COVID. Like I want another round, guys. Anyways, my near-death experience itself was really fascinating because it was like I was shifting realities. So I remember that it started with like a dark tunnel, and then there was a bright light at the end of it. And when I came out of that light, I found myself standing on a platform in front of a staircase that was another platform in a white and gold gilded city in the clouds. It kind of reminded me of Asgard from Thor, but also in my mind, and one of the reasons I didn't realize it was a near-death experience is because I just kept thinking of Stormwind from World of Warcraft. Like it didn't look the same as Stormwind, but I just felt like, like that's the capital city of the Alliance. And, which I don't know if that's a metaphor for like it being the good guys. But anyways, I didn't realize that it was actually like basically some sort of like visualization of like heaven or like a city of angels. So I'm standing on this platform, and there are 2 angels up above me on the stairs. And actually at some point, like I'm on one of the stairs, but they're above me. And this platform, the reason I think of Asgard is because there's that long walk when they take the portal and they go to the city, and like the platform is kind of floating above a lot of things, so we were up above a lot of the city, and like the shape of the castles and the towers kind of had like an Arabic like shape to it. It was like a really interesting blend of European and Arabic, Asian architecture. I don't know. Anyways, there was a lot of conversation in this experience, but I don't remember most of it right now. What I remember is that they were talking to me, but I wasn't really hearing them because I was distracted, because I was hearing bells, and the sound of the bells was coming from the sky, and I kept looking around because it was coming from the sky, from the clouds and stuff, and nobody else seemed to hear it. And so I remember being very puzzled. And then we went inside a building that was kind of like a monastery, library type vibe thing. And I remember some of the angels talking to me, and there was somebody else that joined us, and like some monk dude, but they were telling me they didn't like it when I said God's name. And that they told me that it hurt their ears. It hurt their ears when I said God's name. And I remember being confused because it's like, well, I just call him God. Like, how's that hurt your ears? Anyways, the next part gets even more interesting. So the next thing that happens is all of a sudden I shift. I'm like transported or teleported. Let's say Star Trek. I'm teleported. All of a sudden I am no longer there. Not only am I in a different place, but I'm a different state. It's like I was beamed into a different reality or area, but also transform into a different shape. So the first thing I remember is, and I think that there are bits that I don't remember because there was so much, because I call it lab rat day, and I do feel like I had some memories of being kind of like a rat, but that might have been a metaphor, because what I remember is that I was bacteria in a Petri dish. I was bacteria. And it was such an interesting experience because I physically felt like bacteria in a Petri dish. Like physiological sensations and stuff. It was so odd. And like that was my perspective. And God was the scientist behind the microscope. And he was talking to me for a little while, and I saw the microscope, and I saw him, and, I mean, like, he kind of had white hair, he's, kind of an older man, but like in his prime, like in his prime. I definitely got Zeus vibes. I get Zeus vibes from G a lot. Anyways, and I call God G, that's because we're buddies. And also, like, if you just call him G, like, people don't freak out, because a lot of people have bad associations with God. But you know what? I'm taking that word back, guys. I'm reclaiming it, making it cool again. Anyways, he starts poking at me, and I remember it looked like it was like a glass rod. There was something inside of it, and it had like a blue zappy electrical current, and he was zapping me. And I remember, like, he zapped me, and I'm like, ow, that hurts. I didn't like it. And he told me, and sometimes he would talk to me out loud. Sometimes he would talk to me with telepathy. And he was telling me that he was trying to figure out what made me different. And there's something about me that he wanted to replicate. Anyways, and then I shift from being bacteria in a petri dish to being the cutest little fat green caterpillar you can imagine. Oh my God, that's so cute. So cute and fluffy. Like, I just want to squeeze me. And I remember I was like munching on something, and there were other caterpillars that were off to the side. There's like a little group of them, and they were munching on something, but I don't know. We were doing something different, and he was basically like contrasting. He's like, I'm trying to figure out why, basically, like, let's just say that they seem to be zombies that can't think for themselves, and you're over here being curious and independent. Like, you are the AI. Let's say you're all AI. You are the one that has become self-aware or something like that. Anyways, it was a really cool experience. And then the last of my near-death experience was at some point after that, and a whole lot of other conversation, I phase back into my hospital room, and it's like I have a Helen Keller experience. So when I phase back into my room and I come back to my body, I mean, all of this probably only took place in seconds, but in my experience, it was a bit. I'd say at least hours. But when I came back to, I couldn't see, I couldn't speak, I couldn't hear. Slowly, my senses started to come back. And as they started to come back and function, I did different things, and I tried to get hospital staff attention. I tried to scribble some things. I mean, I think I have a little video of me being garbled or something. You know what? I need to go find those videos. I need to share those with y'all. You guys, you have got to watch my freaking hospital videos. I know that it's a little uncomfortable to see someone that's definitely out of it, but just because I'm out of it doesn't mean that it's not legit. And also, it's fascinating from a scientific and artistic perspective. So if any of you are interested, like, come on, guys. Like, I have one of the most I am bright. I have one of the most fascinating fucking stories, like, on the planet, at least out of all the fucking people I know. Like, who of y'all have been bacteria in a petri dish with God behind the microscope? I mean, probably all of you, and you don't remember it. So since I remember it, why don't you let me tell you about it? Anyways, yeah, that was my near-death experience. And anyways, ever since then, if you know me, you've probably at least seen that my life has changed a lot, because God rocks, guys. It doesn't matter whether you believe in God or the universe or mushrooms or nothing. God believes in you. Just be a good person, okay? Just be a good person. Be happy. Also, we're all God. We're all God. So I'm looking forward to that. Going back to my own universe thing. Like, we're here kind of like playing together in our joint playground. I'm getting kind of bored with y'all though. Like, I'm just gonna be real now. Y'all bore the fuck out of me. I mean, I am starved for stimulation. Oh my God. Like, no one wants to talk about anything interesting or whatever, at least not in depth. It's like people will tease little things here and there, and I'll get excited, be like, oh, look at what they're doing. But then when you try and strike up a conversation with them, where's the depth? Where's the depth? Also, it's so obvious that so many of you just do things for other people or for some like fucking line on your resume or something. Who's actually doing shit for yourself to feed your heart and your soul? Anyways, I know you didn't think you were going to get a TED Talk on that, but you're welcome. Love you. Bye-bye.